I've known Grant for almost 15 years now, and over that time period, I've been able to observe a number of qualities that I think Bree is going to find favorable in Grant as they embark on this journey of marriage. Bree, I've only had the pleasure of spending about 90 minutes with you, and including tonight, let's call it 200. So, anyways, but I'm going to make some assumption based on what I know about women in general. What I know about women in general want in a husband, and I'll tell you a few stories, instances where I've seen Grant as the embodiment of these characteristics. I think all women, again, I'm making assumptions here, but I think they appreciate a woman, or a man who is confident and, this is a little risky, but I think who's willing to role play. We had just completed the last semester of our senior year in high school. Mr. and Mrs. Mayor, I want you to bear with me on this story. And we were looking forward to celebrating our independence and our freedom by consuming a few cold meals. I'm sorry. So, however, we did go to a private religious institution, and 21-year-old friends and fake IDs were hard to come by. So, this is going to get a little bit risky. But, Grant, ever calculated, he drove us over to his parents' house. He dressed in his finest suit, his finest shirt, his finest tie, and his finest shoes. And he didn't do the service of the bedroom. And we departed the house with two important items. Now, I need to ask, Mr. Bernier, when we were seniors in high school, how old were you?
25.
I need you to be honest. Let's call it 45. All right. So, as I said, we departed the Bernier household with two important items. Number one was Mr. Bernier's 20-year-old and very much expired passport. I believe the picture was actually in black and white. Number two, the second important item was the exact glasses that Mr. Bernier was wearing in the said passport picture, which I might add, by fashion standards, were also 20 years expired. So, the next stop was the nearest convenience store, and Grant, coolly donning said glasses, walked into the convenience store, set a case of beer on the counter, pulled out his ID and a $20 bill. Yes, and I'm sorry, ID, I mean passport. Pulled out the passport and a $20 bill. Now, unfortunately, the clerk probably would not have made a good mate for Grant because he did not appreciate his confidence or willingness to role play. And with a laugh, he basically said, "This is not you!" And unfortunately, Grant was dismissed. Now, Bree, there's another quality that I think you're going to appreciate in Grant, and it's his willingness and his lack of fear when it comes to public displays of affection. Fast forward to rewind to March 23, 2000. I'd had my license for approximately 40 days, and Grant and I were driving home from a friend's house. We were about 600 yards out of the driveway, and I did not have the calmness or coolness of Grant here. And so, the next thing I know, we are rolling over and over again in the ditch as the glass shatters and the ceiling of the SUV caves in. Yes, it was bad. I still blame it on the Ford Explorer and the Firestone tires associated with it, but miraculously, both Grant and I emerged from the car relatively unscathed. Now, as the emergency vehicles and people started to show up on the scene, Grant Finnearden walked up to me, and with a warm embrace, he put his arms around me, and we both started to jump around and say, "We're alive! We're alive! We're alive!" Obviously, Grant's not afraid of publicly displaying his affection. So, last but not least, I think deep down, every woman wants a man that can dance. I'm reminded of a poem that reads something like this. Sing like no one is listening. Dance like no one is watching. Live like there's no tomorrow. And love like you'll never be hurt. I pray that this is your marriage. But if there's one thing I know about Grant, he's gonna dance like no one is watching. But there's a problem. People are watching. Not only are they watching, but they're wondering. They're wondering what in the world a 6'2", 200-pound white kid is doing hurricaning the dance floor. And Bree, as you sit there both embarrassed and impressed, I want you to remember this. We are Dutch. And our people, we dance around windmills with wooden shoes on. We don't mix hip-hop and dance. So just keep that in mind. So, all joking aside, I knew Bree was something special last year when I had a chance to spend some time with her. I met her for about, as I said, 90 minutes. But I knew she was something special to Grant when he called me about a year ago and told me about his plans to propose. You see,